DreamWorks is back with their newest film, The Wild Robot. Is it any good? Let's talk about it. This is directed by Chris Sanders, who has previously directed Lilo and Stitch, The Croods, and the first How to Train Your Dragon, and this film follows Roz, a highly intelligent robot who crash lands on an uninhabited island and she must learn to bond with the environment and animals. Before we get into this full review, I do want to give you guys a heads up. The next two videos, which are going to be coming out in the coming days, are going to be my Megalopolis review and the Penguin Episode 2 review, so stay tuned. Now on to The Wild Robot though. I honestly had such a great time with this little film, and if I had to, recommend or pick one single movie to watch this month or, recommend for others this month, I would say this one, because it has something for everyone to enjoy and it's for all ages. It's not my favorite movie of the month. I think The Substance would still be my favorite movie, but that's not for all ages. I think The Wild Robot would be for all ages, and you're probably like, Transformers 1, what happened to that? I still think Transformers 1 is great, but I think that this film is better than that one. And I will say, if you like WALL-E from Pixar, I also think that you will have a really good time with this one and enjoy this one a lot, because they share a lot of similar themes and ideas and little montages of training and such. This one has a robot, the other one has a robot too, and they're both exploring like new lands, making new friends, making some enemies, having some cool visuals and all that. So they really do share a lot of similarities. So yeah, I think my favorite Pixar movie is WALL-E, so I knew I was going to at least like this one a little bit, but I had a great time with this one. I think if you like that one, or Big Hero 6 even, I think you'll have a great time with The Wild Robot. One huge thing that stood out to me in this one was the score. It sounds like one of those scores that, you know how you watch like Toy Story for the first time or like The Incredibles for the first time and you're like, oh yep, that's going to be a classic animated score from the year that was released or the decade that was released. And I gotta say that this one really did kind of feel like that. It felt like, once I walk out after a couple years, I'll look back on the animation scores and scores in general the past like 5 to 10 years, and I'd be like, this one really stood out. It's one of the best ones of this year. And I think of the last couple years, I think that this score would probably be my third favorite or fourth favorite of the year, but easily the best score animation wise. And I think making a great score for an animated movie is something that's truly needed, and I feel like this one did a great job. Chris Bowers was responsible for composing this one. I think he did King Richard and some other ones. I think he did a brilliant job at kind of bringing this to life, especially in the emotional moments and the kind of training sequences. So I thought he did a great job. My favorite part about this film though has to be the gorgeous animation, because holy smokes, it popped out of the screen so vividly. Like some scenes I was like, oh damn, I've never seen animation this vivid before in my life. And I guess you would have to call the animation style more of the traditional 2D animation, maybe some 3D in there just a little bit, but it looks like they were also splashing and going with a lot of ideas there with a lot of different colors together, because it kind of looked like they were going for like a 2D animation style and a pastel color palette, which really added a lot more detail and style to this one, which is something that I've never really seen before in animated movies. Some like pastels this bright, because some of it goes pretty bright. Like they're going for like, there's like a fire in a forest in one of the scenes, and it doesn't really look like orange of what a fire looked like. It looks more of like a red pink. So they're really like making the colors really bright, just magnifying stuff to the max like brightness. I loved how they played with that. I thought it was a really interesting detail and really inventive. It was also fun to see how they played with Roz, who is the robot, and how she could do so many different things with her robot body, because she was a very intelligent kind of robot, and she could like detach certain body parts. Like there's this one scene where she detaches her hand and her hand becomes its own body sorts, like the fingers are the feet and like kind of legs, and then the other fingers are like the hand. And there's one scene where the little hand punches another animal with its like fingers. It's really cool how they did it. I found it really interesting. Let's talk about our cast here. We got three main cast members to talk about. Kit Connor plays Bright Bill, this little kind of duckling that Roz has to take care of. Thought he was pretty great. Lupita Nyong'o plays Roz, the main robot. I thought that she was excellent here. She was also great in A Quiet Place Day One earlier this year, but here I think that she's the best she's been in a while, probably since Us. She just really gives a great performance here, and it's, I would say it was hard probably to give a great performance as a robot like this, because robots don't really have that much emotion from them. They're just technology, but I think she gives a great amount of emotion with this character, especially in some of those big emotional moments. It almost got me to tear up just a little bit, but it didn't quite get there. But I think some other people will get kind of teary-eyed at some certain moments. And Pedro Pascal played Fink, who is a fox in this one, I'm pretty sure. And he also has Gladiator 2 coming out this year, which I'm very excited for. but I think he was pretty good as Fink. He's a pretty funny character that no one likes at the beginning, but he's like one of those characters that just tries to eat everyone. So that's what I'll say about him. I will say though, I didn't love it as much as some others did when this premiered at some fall festivals. It like shook the world when it premiered. Everyone was loving it. Maybe because it took a little bit to get going into that story and some of the characters I couldn't really attach to, but I thought that second half was perfect. And that's really what reminded me of Wall-E. And it could have been, it really could have been a perfect film overall if that second half was this, if the first half was as strong as the second half. But I honestly have this film winning Best Animated Feature because I have it beating Inside Out 2, but Flo and Memoir of a Snail could be ones that could overtake this one, but we'll see. Overall, The Wild Robot is my favorite animated movie of the year so far. It starts a little slow, but once you get fully used to these characters and into this journey, you start to fall in love very quickly. I love the animation and score, and found it so interesting how they played with the technology aspects and nature without having one ruin another. So overall, I'm going to give The Wild Robot a strong 8 out of 10. If you saw The Wild Robot, leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed my review, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. That's it for me. Have a good day, everyone. See you in the next one.